Exploring the dungeons in Moonlighter usually takes a couple of runs, but have you ever completed one without taking damage? It is possible, but it's quite hard, because there are numerous enemies that have different patterns of attacks. Today we're looking at each pattern so you can get 0 damage. We have 4 dungeons to go through and we're starting with the first one, the Golem dungeon. As our first enemy we have the Tangle, and I like this dude because this man will be in every single dungeon. He will be a different species though. The best weapon to deal with this one is with a ranged weapon, like a bow, so you don't get hit, but that's the case with most enemies. Then we have the Stone Soldier. This one will come close to you until he's close enough to hit. He can only do 1 slash to the way it's facing, so it's quite easy to dodge. The third enemy is a Stone Butler. This one will shoot a water bullet at you and has a shield. To dodge him, you just run to the side so you're not in the line of fire. The way you kill him is from behind, cause he has a shield. Whenever you're like 3 seconds behind him, he will turn around. Then we have one of my favorite enemies, and that is the Slime Gauntlet. Basically a slime with a massive stone hand. Get in range for the hand to come down. Then roll away and then you can damage him. However, if you have not killed him by the time the rock hand is back, you cannot damage him. To damage him again, you just need to do the whole process again. The 5th and the 6th enemies are Golem turrets. One is a broken Golem turret and one is a normal Golem turret. The difference is that one shoots 3 drops of water and the other shoots 1 long beam. But do look out, because while shooting water the normal Golem turret can walk. They can shoot in each direction except diagonally, so it's quite easy to dodge. Then as our 7th enemy we have the Golem head. Quite a fun, easy, irritating enemy, cause you can only damage him when he is confused. To make it confused, dodge to the side when it comes to you. And make it run into a rock, or use your short sword and shield to block it. This is also how you can get 0 damage off of him. As our 8th enemy we have the Golem mine. This one works that if you come too close to him, he will jump to you and explode. To dodge him you just have to simply dodge when he jumps. After that we have the Flying Repair Golem. This one just flies at you and also tries to touch you like the Tangler. But if it finds any loot on the floor, it will prioritize that and will try to avoid you at a certain hittable distance. Then we have the most irritating enemy, for sure in the Golem dungeon, but maybe even in the whole game. We have the normal Flying Golem. This guy swoops at you, but what makes him so annoying is that you can rarely hit him. When he is about to swoop you, I recommend performing a large swing with your big sword. After the Golem dungeon we get the Forest dungeon. Like with every dungeon we have one enemy that isn't unique, so let's start off with the Forest Tangle. The color might be a bit different, but it does exactly the same thing as the one from the Golem dungeon. Except this one does more damage and has more health. In the dungeons you have a kind of preview of the next dungeon. So in the Golem dungeon you have a preview of the Forest dungeon, in the Forest dungeon you have a preview of the Desert dungeon, in the Desert dungeon you have a preview of the Tech dungeon, and in the Tech dungeon you have a preview of the Golem, Forest and Desert dungeon. In this previews you will always find 3 enemies that stay the same in every preview of that dungeon. The first enemy you can find there is a Wind Tree. This guy slaps his leaf so it will create a gust of wind. After traveling a certain distance, this thing will come at you. To dodge it, simply stand close and diagonally from the enemy. The other enemy you can find in the preview of the Forest dungeon, you can also find these enemies in the Forest dungeon itself, is the Fruit turret. Upon seeing you, it will shoot 3 seeds in any direction. To dodge him, do it just like the broken Golem turret. There's an interval to hit him. The only difference is that this one can also walk. Now back to the Forest dungeon. The 4th enemy is a Blade Tree. This one is a mobile tree stump with a large razor sharp leaf on top. It will yeet that thing at you. To dodge him, just kill him before or during the spinning animation. Then we have one of the worst enemies you can encounter in the forest dungeon, and that is the Landscaper. This thing will shoot blobs of poison at you that will, when landed, cover a large area on the ground with poison. But luckily, when the Landscaper dies, the poison will disappear. As our next enemy, we have something like a mutated forest tangle. We have the Venomous Tangle. Covered in poisonous thorns, this guy will whip you, so you will get poison damage if you get hit by him. To dodge him, just stay away and hit him, with ranged weapons if possible, cause he will attack you. Then we have a rather cute enemy, the Sporebush. The Moonlighter community has decided that this guy looks a bit like a sheep. This mushroom puppy runs at you and hops like a sheep whilst firing a ton of spores at you. To dodge, just roll away. I think our next enemy is also quite annoying. It's called the Cedar. This guy just flies around without damaging you, but this guy also likes to breed. When breeding, he plants seeds that turn into plants that shoot bullets at you. And they have their own health bar. Quite an annoying enemy. To dodge, again just roll. The last enemy of the forest dungeon is the Spinning Mushroom. This guy yeets itself at you. I recommend just using your charged big sword attack to dodge and hit at the same time. Then we go on to the desert dungeon, and of course our first enemy is a desert version of the Tangle. The Cloth Tangle is one wearing a fireproof cloth on its body. It will shoot out fireballs diagonally. Then we have the Mother Golem, one that shoots fire babies. To dodge this one, roll and hope, or just stand behind a fast structure. The next enemy we don't really want to kill, because he's our favorite dancing boy, the Bart Puppet. This one will help others, so you have to murder him quickly, so he doesn't get the chance to help others. Our following enemy is a Lava Golem. This one will just shoot lava at you, kind of like the Landscaper, but this one can also charge at you. Then we have the Katamari Golem. Basically a stone football that rolls wherever it wants to go. To dodge him, just don't stand in its tracks. Then we have the last of the puppets, the Magician Puppet. Just kill him or dodge. The last normal enemy is the Patrol Golem. This guy shoots lasers as it rolls. Just stay clear of the lasers as they can't go through hard objects. And they have a little bit of an interval. As our last dungeon, we have the Tech Dungeon, with an annoying enemy coming up first. The Death Generator will give his comrades a little boost, making them harder to kill. Luckily, he himself does not attack, but he does move. Now, the second guy might even be worse, since it's the Recharger. This light bulb on spider legs revives his comrades when he gets close to the dead body. Quite frustrating when you thought you already killed some. Then we have the hardest enemy to dodge, because when he attacks you need to be running. I'm talking about the Electric Post. This one will strike down lightning on you. To dodge this, you need to roll whilst running. A really hard attack to dodge. Our next enemy is a Repair Drone. This one will generate a lightning axe circling around him whilst coming at you. Then we have the not so much an enemy, the Electromagnetic Ball. This guy just flies around damaging you. To make it disappear, just kill the other enemies on the floor. Then we have an enemy similar to the Flying Golem. We have the Grab Generator. What is different is that you can always damage him. And when this one charges, he will leave an electrifying ray behind on his tracks. Then the next enemy is the Tech Turret. This one just shoots a laser that can't go through fast objects, so just stand behind one. You might have thought we didn't have a tangle this time, but worry not, we have a Tech Tangle. This one will zap you when you come close. Then we have two other enemies that you can come across in each dungeon. We have the slime enemies, the forest, the golem, the desert and the tech. They have two attacks. One that hurts you and one that does nothing except freeze you. The Golem slime has no effect. The forest slime has a poisonous effect, the desert slime has a fire effect, and the tech slime has an electrifying effect. Then the other kind of enemy is the mimic. They will stay in their chest form unless damaged. You have them in wood, silver, and you have them in gold. The golden mimic will also shoot coins at you, so it's quite hard to dodge. Our last enemy is the Wanderer, but if you want to know all about him, click here.